Welcome back to Book Summary 5. I'm Sammy, and today, Carl enters a subway system designed by someone who apparently hates maps, commuters, and human life. He will uncover a secret manual written by crawlers from previous seasons, turn moving trains into weapons, face betrayal from one of the dungeon's most powerful players, and deliberately summon an invulnerable war god. This is the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinniman, the third book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. After surviving the destruction of the third floor, Carl, Donut, Kaya, and Mongo arrive on the fourth floor aboard a moving subway train. The new level is called the Iron Tangle. It is an enormous network of colored subway lines, steam trains, transfer stations, maintenance tunnels, train yards, and hidden platforms. The system is intentionally confusing. Trains mostly move in one direction. The stairwells are concentrated at specific station numbers, and the crawlers have been placed far away from them. Even worse, the stairwells will not open until the final 6 hours before the floor collapses. Carl and Donut are now officially among the dungeon's 10 most prominent crawlers. That gives them enormous audiences, valuable sponsorship opportunities, and bounties that reward anyone who kills them. Donut also receives a new temporary class called Football Hooligan. Her former child actor class allows her to choose a different specialty on each floor. Football Hooligan increases her constitution and gives her a mascot ability. Whenever Mongo attacks, the entire party receives temporary bonuses. Mordecai discovers something even more important. When Donut loses a temporary class, she may retain any skills she trained beyond the levels automatically granted by that class. If they use this carefully, she can slowly collect permanent abilities from every floor. It appears to be an unintended loophole. Naturally, Mordecai tells them not to mention it where the producers can hear. Their first subway ride immediately becomes a disaster. Stations are filled with mobs waiting to board, while special train cars contain stronger monsters, including uniformed ghouls acting as janitors, porters, conductors, and engineers. Carl learns that fighting aboard a moving train requires a completely different strategy. Explosives could derail the entire vehicle, so he relies more heavily on traps, close combat, and the environment. His protective shell spell becomes especially useful. The magical barrier remains fixed in one position even when the train moves. By activating it at the right moment, Carl can create an invisible wall that the train and its enemies crash through while he remains protected inside. It is the sort of ridiculous loophole the dungeon hates. It is also exactly the kind Carl is becoming very good at finding. The team eventually reaches a safer room and discovers that the unusual rewards from the previous floor have given them an extraordinary base. Carl, Donut, and Katya combine their personal spaces into one large headquarters. It includes a crafting studio, training facilities, better sleeping quarters, and a private room for Mordecai. The space becomes the royal palace of Princess Donut. Carl uses it to develop bombs, traps, armor, and equipment for the trains. Katya practices controlling her doppelganger body, learning to alter her appearance and transform her mass into useful shapes. Mongo continues growing into a powerful combat companion, but the team also receives terrible news. A delayed message reveals that Brandon did not survive. Before his death, he asked Carl to tell Chris that he loved him. The message intensifies Carl's guilt. Every new person he meets becomes someone else he might fail to save. Yet he also realizes that withdrawing from everyone would mean allowing the dungeon to destroy the last part of him that still cares. Then Carl receives the most important item he has found so far. During a fan reward event, he is shown a carousel of prizes. There are potions, weapons, books, explosives, and even a motorcycle. Donut insists that he choose a pair of enchanted chaps. Instead, Carl notices a strange book marked with an anarchist symbol. He selects it. The official description claims it is a humorous collection of recipes involving chickens and goblins. Everyone assumes Carl has wasted his prize, but Carl's escape plan skill reveals hidden writing on the first page. The book is not a cookbook. It is a secret survival manual passed between crawlers across different seasons of Dungeon Crawler World. Its previous owners recorded information about traps, portals, monsters, NPCs, gods, quests, and weaknesses in the dungeon's systems. Each owner added knowledge for the next person unlucky enough to receive it. The cookbook proves that Carl is not the first crawler to recognize the dungeon for what it is. Others resisted before him. They experimented, sabotaged the game, studied its weaknesses, and left their discoveries behind. One former owner developed a method for questioning NPCs about contradictions in their memories. Because the NPCs are biological beings programmed with artificial histories, carefully challenging those contradictions can break through their scripted behavior. Carl tests the technique on a railway employee named Madison. By questioning what she supposedly knows about her own job, Carl forces her to reveal information hidden beneath her assigned role. He learns about maintenance routes, employee portals, train yards, and station mimics. Those station mimics are not normal stations. They are enormous city bosses disguised as safe destinations. One group led by Daniel Bautista discovers this too late. Hundreds of crawlers arrive at what they believe is a normal terminal, only for the station itself to attack them. The survivors retreat toward a massive abyss at the end of the rail system. Their best escape route is an employee portal that requires the souvenir conductor hats everyone received upon entering the floor. Unfortunately, many crawlers sold their hats. Carl now faces a familiar problem. He cannot reach everyone, and trying to save one group might get his own team killed. But the Iron Tangle is not merely a collection of random train lines. It is a broken transportation system. The ghouls are supposed to be collected, loaded onto trains, and carried into the abyss. The producers combined several mechanisms to save money, and the result malfunctioned. Train yards overflowed, routes collapsed, and monsters spread across the floor. That failure gives Carl an opportunity. He begins sharing information with other crawlers, including Imani, El McGibbons, Li Jun, Li Na, Zhang, and Bautista. Together, they map routes, secure stations, operate stolen engines, and identify stairwell locations. Carl is no longer planning only for his own party. He is coordinating a network. Meanwhile, Hekla and Brynhild's daughters arrive with a plan to rescue another group trapped behind a growing horde of ghouls. They have a powerful train, but need something capable of clearing the tracks. Katya transforms herself into a massive reinforced scoop attached to the front of the engine. The faster the train moves, the stronger her monster truck driver class makes her. She becomes a living battering ram, cutting a path through the monsters while Carl, Donut, and Hekla protect her. At first, the plan works. Then Donut notices something through her magical sunglasses. Hekla is secretly shooting Katia with invisible crossbow bolts. Katya's health is rapidly falling, but she cannot understand why. Hekla and her enforcer, Eva, have turned her into bait, hoping to provoke Carl into an emotional reaction as part of a larger scheme. Donut is furious. She had admired Hekla. Now she realizes Hekla's promises of friendship and family were tools for controlling Katya. When confronted, Eva openly mocks Katya and admits that she abandoned her on the previous floor. Katya finally understands that the people she trusted considered her weak, replaceable, and useful only when they needed something from her. Overwhelmed, Katya activates Rush and launches herself toward Eva. She misses. Instead, she strikes Hekla, killing one of the highest-ranked crawlers in the dungeon and collecting her enormous bounty. Katya rises from level 24 to level 37. The official recap program later edits the incident to make it appear that Katya deliberately murdered Hekla in revenge. The truth is less convenient for their story, so the producers replace it with something more dramatic. Katia is horrified by what happened, but she is no longer the frightened crawler who followed Eva into the dungeon. She now knows Carl and Donut will not abandon her simply because she made a mistake. The three of them are becoming a family. With the floor approaching collapse, Carl returns to the rescue operation. Using information from the cookbook, the team modifies 6 rapid response portal carts. These vehicles can travel through the railway system and teleport anything they hit to designated train yards. Carl sends them racing towards stranded groups, transforming the carts into moving rescue portals. The plan works, but the final train yard contains powerful enemies, including Mantors who worship the war god Gruul. Carl's magical gauntlet has a dangerous side effect. Every time he strikes one of Gruul's followers, there is a small chance the target will transform into the god himself. Until now, Carl has treated that possibility as a disaster. This time, he activates it deliberately. Gruul appears as an invulnerable engine of destruction. He attacks the station mimic and tears through the train yard, but once the immediate enemies are gone, he turns his attention toward Carl. Carl cannot hurt him. His only option is to survive until the summoning ends. El distracts Gruul from the air, while Katya transforms herself into a copy of Carl and lures him in the wrong direction. Donut, Mongo, Li Jun, and Li Na arrive through one of the portal carts with another captive worshipper. Carl strikes this second follower until the summoning activates again. They throw the transforming Mantor through the moving portal. Because only one version of Gruul can be summoned at a time, the god disappears from the train yard and reappears wherever the portal has sent his new vessel. Carl has used the dungeon's own sponsored god as both a weapon and an escape mechanism. With the routes cleared, the surviving crawlers spread toward the fortified stairwell stations. Some choose the relatively safe Station 72. Others defend Stations 36 and 48 until the stairways finally activate. Carl, Donut, Katya, Mongo, and their growing circle of allies survive the iron tangle. By the end of the floor, Carl has risen to 3rd place on the leaderboard. Donut is 4th. Katya enters the top 10. But their rankings are not the most important change. At the beginning of the series, Carl survived by reacting faster than the dungeon could kill him. Now he studies it. He gathers intelligence, builds alliances, distributes information, and turns design failures into weapons. The cookbook connects him to every crawler who previously refused to accept that the game was unbeatable. Carl begins adding his own observations to its hidden pages. Someday, another crawler may read them. That possibility changes the meaning of survival. Carl is no longer fighting only to remain alive. He is building something that might outlive him. The dungeon wants isolated contestants competing for attention. Carl is creating a resistance, and the more the producers try to control him, the more material they give him for his next recipe. That was The Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. I'm Sammy, and this was Book Summary 5. Until next time, happy reading.